Hello, good afternoon. I'm coming at you from a strangely very warm November Sunday. It feels like summer. I have no idea what's going on. But today I didn't know how to organize this, so this could be a mess. But I just kind of wanted to throw together a video of the things that I've noticed that I've been doing that have helped me so much this year, kind of before we enter December and the wind down season where we start thinking about like our goals for the next year and stuff like that. Before we get there, I want to reflect on the things that have worked for me the past year and the past couple of years. I've made some videos about like self-care and what I do to take care of myself, but a lot of those honestly like don't stick, and so I want to talk about the ones that did. So in this series of taking care of myself, our first section is writing stuff down. So if you are anything like me, and I bet you are, you buy yourself a lot of notebooks and convince yourself that this is the one that's going to take. This is the one that you're going to fill up and write your life story in, and then you write about a couple pages. I know that journaling is so good for you. I love reading back on my old journals. For me, the problem has been not the act of writing itself, but just like what format works for me. What can I write about? This is a good example of one that I have written in a lot, kept up with quite well, and it's because I write it on trips. So I have no issue keeping a journal. This is from Paris. I have no issue keeping a journal when I'm traveling, but when I come home and I'm just kind of doing nothing, I have difficulty writing stuff down, and that's really the time when I need that kind of self-reflection. It's just one of life's little ironies that it's like the times that you need something is the time that you just don't want to do it. So I've been playing around with different kinds of methods, and I'll go into that a little bit more in a second, but I do want to give a shout out to the sponsor of this video, which is Skillshare. I'm sure you guys know about Skillshare. It is an online learning platform that has classes ranging from how to do your taxes as a freelancer to everything creative you've ever wanted to know. I have a class on there if you would like my little intro to vlogging class. I will link that down below. But the class that I started taking just this week, I looked up creative writing and I ended up finding this. The title is Writing for Self-Discovery, and it contains 6 journaling prompts for gratitude and growth. And basically the teacher, who is Yasmin Cheyenne, she not only gives you different prompts of things to potentially journal about, but she walks you through different methods. Like maybe you're a pie chart kind of gal. Before I get off track with what formats I love the most, there will be a link in the description box. The first 1,000 people to click that link will get 1 month free of Skillshare. And if you are watching this before November 28th, they're having a Black Friday / Cyber Monday sale. So the 1 year subscription, it's 50% off right now. So definitely go check that out. All of that will be down in the description box. Thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this. But one format that I found actually really works, and it seems so silly. It's writing lists. I was reading this book called My Year of Meat. There's a part of that book that talks about a very, very old work of Japanese literature, which is basically just a list of things, like things that make me happy, things that, make me laugh when I shouldn't. And I've kind of started that, whether it's having a topic like things that make me happy and I just go down, or just literally things that happened today. I don't need to write a full sentence. I just kind of jot stuff down. And once you get in the habit of literally just putting pen to paper, or, whether you're typing it or whatever, more stuff starts to flow out of you. So if you just make the bar really low in terms of like the entry commitment, like, oh, just jot down in bullet points what you did today, you will find that you will write more. Actually, I started doing that in this journal. I write it in a way that it looks like it's not bullet points, but it is. Early morning fog, long bus ride to Sademun, tree-lined roads, the last of the yellow leaves, salt bread and an Americano, sitting outside for as long as I can, until my fingers freeze. A man stopping to talk about climbing rocks, and my girl who he climbs with. And then it like you can see how it slowly grows and becomes sentences, and I actually just journal, and then I end up kind of thinking about deeper things and writing about that. And also, shout out to my friend Shayna, who made this really wonderful creative journal. It just has a bunch of different prompts, it has some poetry, it has just some blank pages. It's really fun. It's got just so much of her personality in it, which is so warm and excited about life. So I bought this as a little gift for myself. I'm very excited to start playing around with it. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to start off on the thing that has helped me a lot but has been the hardest one for me to stick to, just as an example of how the videos I make about self-care, I simply don't do them all the time, even though I wish I did. So highly recommend the class. I'm going to link it down below because it really has helped me. Will it last for more than a couple weeks? I truly hope so. And I also want to say, if journaling doesn't work for you, something that has been a very interesting journey that is something that I have kept up with is just creative writing in and of itself. So for me, it's been a really wonderful experience writing about completely fictional things and seeing my life and things that like I've been thinking about and things that I've been wanting to work on and questions I have just very naturally come out. I just want to really encourage you guys to look for different methods because there are so many different ways to journal and just kind of get your life and your thoughts onto the paper, and you can look back at it later and be amazed by what you thought or how far you've come or whatever. So all of that will be linked in the description box. But my next point, which is something that I do for self-care that I've been doing for years and it really, really helps me, requires me to leave this apartment and go off on a little adventure. And so I will see you guys on the bus.
Reel me in to get it going, open me up. Sweet talking like you mean it, but you're making it so complicated. I f***ing hate it. Every time I get too close, you push me away. Don't wanna stay, telling me you don't want any obligations. And how you hate them. Don't call me just cause you're lonely. You know you're killing me slowly.
Hello. So, number 2 on the list of things that genuinely make me feel good. Traveling solo. I know that so many people struggle with this and I've talked about it so much on my channel, but traveling just by yourself is so wonderful. It helps me like get in my head a little too much, but then I end up sorting things out and I feel much lighter and I end up kind of getting out of my head. Doesn't make sense. But anyway, so I'm on Ganghwa Island. I'm gonna spend the night. Was hoping for a sunset, but it's quite gloomy, but it kind of is atmospheric, so I like it. Just like off the top of my head, reasons why solo travel makes me so happy. Number 1, it just proves that like I can do things by myself, especially in Korea, like when I'm feeling kind of, I don't know, inadequate or, you know, down about X, Y, and Z. I can go on a trip like this and remind myself that like I am, I don't know, strong and independent and capable, and you know, I can look after myself. And I think that's something that specifically solo travel really does, is like it forces you to take care of yourself and treat yourself well. You can't, if you self-sabotage, like you're screwed on a solo trip. So like, as you saw on the bus, I made sure I had a really good playlist. I do things with my future self in mind. And so if you think of it like that, like even if you're not solo traveling, but just thinking of like, what can I do right now to make life easier or better for my future self, and take care of your future self as if it was a friend. It's just a really good thing to practice. So yeah. Solo. I've mentioned it many times, so I'm sorry that this is like a repeat, but if you aren't down with being by yourself, start with little trips. Start with taking yourself to a bookstore or taking yourself to a park. You can just spend like a couple hours by yourself and level up. It took me a really long time to get used to like eating alone. That's something that still sometimes, I don't know why, but sometimes I'll be like, I don't want to do that. So it is a process, but it's really wonderful. It just helps you become more comfortable in yourself. And that's obviously a very important thing. That is my second thing that has always, whenever I'm like feeling out of sorts, a little trip, especially if there's water involved. A little trip by myself, spending the day just kind of reminding myself that I'm living in this body, I'm living in this world, in this brain, and it's a great place to be if I take care of it. So I'm now heading to the Airbnb. The sun's trying to come out. It's gonna rain tomorrow too, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm going to head there, and yeah, I'll see you a bit later.
Maybe I'm not. I think about it way too much, and every single thought is making me. Give me something straight from your heart. All this insecurity is tearing me apart. You're making me sleepless. You're making me sleepless. Yeah. I keep losing in this game of playing pretend. I don't wanna be a 4 a.m. I'm suffocating just by waiting on you. So don't call me just 'cause you're lonely. You know you're killing me slowly. Nah, maybe I'm yours, maybe I'm not. I think about it way too much, and every single thought is making me. Give me something straight from your heart. All this insecurity is tearing me apart. You're making me sleepless.
저희 남편이
네.
조각해요.
진짜요?
여기 있는 거.
오.
이런 거. 이런 것도 만들고 이런 거.
헐. She gave me this usual job for free. Oh my god. So anyway, next on our list is something that I've talked about so much, and if you watch my book channel, you're extra sick of me because I say it all the time. The next tip is escaping, finding a way to completely separate your brain from the reality that you live in all the time. And so for me, that comes in the form of reading, mainly reading fantasy, but I've been branching out into more genres that I find can kind of take me away. But there's just something about having your mind go somewhere completely different and just kind of almost leaving your body for a little bit that is so important, especially when, you know, we're living in kind of a 24-hour news cycle. We're just sort of being constantly funneled all of this info, and it's becoming almost harder and harder to tune out. And as anxieties rise, it becomes more and more important to tune out for a little bit. And so, like I said, for me, reading absolutely does it. I read every single day. And if I don't, it's usually because I'm busy doing other things that are like fun and distracting. I think he caught a fish. Okay, good for him. It can also come in the form of gaming, and I find that it's not like mindless stuff. Like if you might want to try, if you do like playing solitaire or something, I don't know, like if you're playing just like Candy Crush, if that separates you from reality for a little bit, that's great. But I find that the thing that really helps me is stuff that takes me out of my reality and puts me into another one. So that's why I reference gaming or reading, because you're not checked out, you're just checked into something else. And I think that there's something like really magical about that, like the fact that we as humans can create worlds that we can escape into, kind of thing. So that's my next one, but I'm gonna log off now because I'm being noisy, and I'm gonna actually read and take in the sunset. We might have a pretty one. I'm seeing blue sky. But anyway, I'm gonna drink this and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit, okay? Hello. I like never eat. Okay. Hi, so I like never eat ramen. It usually leaves me feeling just really, really thirsty. So I almost never have it, but today they only have like a microwave. So this is my dinner, and I didn't get a video, but the people who own this place have a giant yellow lab who just went for a walk. Like the second I came inside, he took the dog for a walk, and I was so sad. But yeah, the sun has set. It ended up being, it's like a subtle sunset where it's difficult to capture, but it's like a really pretty, just kind of pastel going on. So I'm happy with it, but I'm going to eat, I'm going to continue to read, and I'll check in with you in a little bit. I actually did bring a Nutella banana sandwich for dessert. And yeah, I'm just having like a very quiet, chill time. I don't really have that much to say, but I'll check in a bit. Okay, hi, I'm still reading. I have made tea. I brought myself some tea bags, and while I was reading, I was kind of struggling to pay attention, but it's gotten a lot better recently. The fridge is also making weird noises, so if you hear that, ignore it. But one thing that has really stuck with me in terms of self-care, just taking care of myself in general, is one particular app that I'm sorry to say I have gotten reports back that it's now a paid app. I got it when it was free, and it is called Forest, and you guys are probably so sick of hearing about it. It's an app that essentially you plant a little forest because you can have different trees. This is a ginkgo. I bought this one, but you can set a timer for however long you want to, and once you hit that timer, you have to put your phone down. If you try and access your phone, your tree will die, and it's very sad. And it just, in your little forest, you just have a dead tree, and it's the worst thing ever. So this is something that I have used for years, and I'm really, really grateful for it. It helps me with reading. I find that when I'm in, it's sort of like a cycle. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Where when I'm having kind of bad mental health days, or when I'm anxious or something, I tend to like check my phone more because my attention span is so bad that I'm just constantly like, I can't stick to a task. I have to just be like, but that action causes me to have more anxiety. So I'm not sure like which one really comes first, but what I do know is that when I am off my phone and focusing on other things, I feel better. So having this timer really helps me kind of break that cycle. I think a couple weeks ago, just because of like traveling and I was sort of overworked and feeling really weird, I was doing that where I would just like refresh things, and I couldn't focus on reading. And so getting back into using Forest, I weaned myself off of my phone time, and so now I barely even need to use Forest anymore. I can just naturally like not pick up my phone, and my attention span, it's amazing how quickly you can like reprogram your brain, because my attention span gets right back into, I would say, my normal range. But one that works for me specifically for reading is I will set a 10-minute timer, and I will read, and then my timer will go off, and I will reassess and be like, do I need to check my phone? Do I need to check my email? Do I need to be doing anything else other than reading for the next 10 minutes? No. Let me reset that timer. And so it just helps me, like, can I focus for 10 minutes? Okay, let's do it. So trying that, even if you just use like your timer on your phone, is a really good way to work on that. But yeah, for me, that act of just shutting everything off and focusing on another task is very, very important. So I highly encourage you to find a way that works for you. So yeah, just for the rest of the night, I'm going to probably maybe do some stretching because they have the ondel on and it feels real good now that I'm finally down here on the ground. I'm gonna eat my Nutella sandwich. I was thinking of taking you guys to a cafe in the morning, but this island is a little bit difficult to get around if you don't have a car. And normally if the weather was nicer, I would have no issues like standing at a bus stop for an hour or so. I don't mind. But it's gonna rain tomorrow and I kind of just want to get home. It's like relatively easy to get from here to the bus terminal. But if I were to go anywhere else, it would be so I think I might just go straight home. I'm gonna come back because I found the prettiest cafe. I'll show you pictures. So if it's a nice weather day and you feel like traveling, the cafe is called Slow Rain, and it's just got like a huge garden foresty area and cupcakes. So that's where I wanted to go, but I'll save that for a prettier day. I think I'm just gonna go straight home and I have some work to do, so I'll see you guys in the morning. Just in case you're wondering, like, why did you come all the way out here to breed in a room? But honestly, it was like a 3, almost 4 hour bus ride, and it was just glorious. Like, I think that's what Kurt and I kind of bonded over when we first were just friends. We both loved a good long bus ride. He likes to fall asleep, I like to stare out the window listening to music, so it's just like something about that is just like a nice reset. I feel really good. So yeah, it's gonna be a long trip back home and then it's gonna rain for a couple days, so I'm gonna hunker down and finish some work. But yeah, anyway, I don't want to keep talking because it's not that. I will catch you guys in the morning. Okay, bye.
We find ourselves starting from scratch, brick by brick. No path carved out for us now. The brush is thick. All I'm asking now, don't give up on love. Don't give up.
Hi everyone, I am back home and I just want to give a quick little final closing statement, which is my sort of last tip in terms of things that make me feel better, that are pretty much not that difficult to do. So just a few days ago, I had to do a bunch of like cleaning things. Like for me, a cluttered house equals a cluttered mind. So I was just kind of doing little chores around the house. I realized that I had been at home by myself for almost the entire day without a single sound going on. Like there was no, I wasn't talking to myself for once. I wasn't playing any music. It was just so quiet. And I felt okay, but the second I turned music on, the second I lit a candle, I felt so much better. And sometimes that like a little act like that is all that it really takes to kind of turn a mood around. So sort of like when I was riding on the bus and I have playlists at the ready, consider doing that in your house. There's something to be said about making your house feel really cozy. It might be as simple as making yourself a cup of tea when you weren't even thinking about having any tea, but you go and you make some, and maybe it's winter and you make chai and it's just like, oh, that scent fills your room and it feels so good. Like something as teeny tiny as that can really turn your day around. And so I think a couple years ago I made a video about how to kind of make your life aesthetic. That's really just one of my tips, is just kind of look at how you can change the way that you view things, or how you can make something just a little bit more beautiful and wonderful. And again, kind of thinking of how can you take care of your future self? How can you create an environment that in the next couple hours, you're whoever you are next hour will be so happy to be there, kind of thing. So that's kind of my last tip, because I have to edit this video, and so I've got my Autumn Harvest candle that I bought last year at Target. The Target candles are really good. I put on my kind of warmer lighting. We're lucky to have lights that I can change the color all the time. And I'm putting on a little playlist just as I kind of get ready. And then once I have to start editing, I have to actually listen to my own voice. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to share those things that have stuck with me for many years. And when I find myself kind of not doing any of those things is when I do a little mental health checkup and I'm like, yeah, you're not doing too hot. Maybe you should go back to all those things that like really help you. So anyway, just thanks for being here these past couple days as I've just kind of gone through my checklist of how to make myself feel better and how to kind of reset myself and get myself off of the internet and like the places that make me feel not super great when it's in big amounts. So yeah, I also didn't film it, but I also had on my way back from the bus stop, I walked by the convenience store and they have kunkoguma out, and I know that I can make them in my house, but I didn't have any, so I got one from the convenience store and it was so good and I am so happy. I also highly recommend anytime you see a sweet potato, eat it. That's my number one self-care tip. But anyway, yeah, I will leave you guys here. Speaking of, I think I'm going to do another like what I eat in a week video, but Kurt and I are going to go to our local market and see what we can eat from there. Thank you again to Skillshare for sponsoring this. There is a link in the description box. First 1,000 people to click it will get 1 month free of a Skillshare trial. And if you're watching this early, which I hope you are, you can check out if their Black Friday deal is still up for their year-long subscription. Highly recommend. So anyway, yeah, I will leave you guys here, but let me know what you guys have been doing. What's the thing that sticks for you in terms of self-care that like has consistently, you can do it consistently and it consistently works? Because those are the things that I want. I'm sick of feeling really good about like working out and doing yoga and Pilates or whatever for like a month maximum, and then I just drop it. So let me know, what are the things that have stuck for you? And I look forward to hearing your answers. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.